Hey everyone, this is your host. And today we are going to be reading The Tailor of Gloucester by Beatrix Potter. It was first privately printed by the author in 1902, and then published in its first trade edition by Frederick Warne & Co. in October 1903. It's interesting to note that Potter declared for many years that of all her books, this was her personal favorite. So let's see what makes this story so special. In the city of Gloucester, there lived an elderly tailor who had grown too poor to hire assistants. He did his best to keep busy, but as winter approached, his work began to dwindle. At the end of December, the mayor of Gloucester came to him and asked if he could make a finely embroidered coat for him to wear to his wedding on Christmas Day. It was to be a rich dark blue color, lined with red silk and fastened with 9 large pearl buttons. And in return, he would pay the tailor a king's ransom, which was just what the tailor needed to get his business back on track. He cut out all the pieces with care and made a start, but soon realized he was missing one vital thing. One more skein of cherry-colored twist to finish off the last buttonhole. As the shops were now closed for the holidays, he would have to wait until Monday to get it. But he couldn't possibly finish the coat without it. So instead, he decided to get his cat Simpkin to go and buy it for him. The cat didn't like the idea at all. Not only did she dislike shopping, but also she was very suspicious of shopkeepers. But the tailor told her they only had 1 penny left in the house, so if she could bring back the twist, they would be able to buy fish for dinner. In the end, she agreed, and off she went. When she was out, the tailor discovered that 3 of the mice he detrapped under a teacup, while Simpkin was slinking off to the shops, had managed to free themselves. He didn't mind this at all. In fact, he was rather pleased, because when he was done with the coat, he knew he would have enough mice skins to make himself a new rug. Simpkin returned, but before she could say a word, he pounced on her, trapping her beneath the teacup. She hissed and spat, but he paid her no heed, only tipping the cup over to collect the scraps of cheese that had fallen underneath. When he looked up, she was gone. And not only that, but also the penny was vanished. Furious, she crept into the bedroom where the tailor had fallen asleep and hid the twist in the folds of his dressing gown, then jumped into bed and curled up at the foot, determined to starve rather than go hungry. The tailor slept throughout the day and woke up feeling worse for wear. He had no idea where Simpkin had hidden the twist, nor could he think of any way to replace it. So he put on his old coat and walked the streets aimlessly, calling out for Simpkin. But the cat was nowhere to be found. As Christmas Eve fell and the shops closed, he realized he would never finish the coat, and so trudged home once more, dejected. He made himself some supper and tried to go to sleep, but he was too uncomfortable, tossing and turning all night. Meanwhile, the mice had snuck into his workshop to find out how he was getting on. Seeing that he was still working on the coat, they felt sorry for him and decided to help. All night long, they scurried around, sewing together the coat until dawn. Then, as the first rays of sunlight peeked through the window, they raced home, exhausted but happy. At the same time, Simpkin woke up in the tailor's bed and yawned. Only then did she notice the twist tucked behind the folds of his dressing gown. Feeling guilty for hiding it in the first place, she slunk down and gave it back to him. The tailor was overjoyed. Now he could finish the coat and perhaps have a little money coming in after all. But when he bent over the work table, he saw that it was still missing 1 buttonhole. As he stared at it, puzzled, he noticed a scrap of paper attached to the top, covered in tiny writing. Unfolding it, he read, "No more twist." He chuckled and sat down to write his reply, which he tied onto another piece of string and dropped down the chimney. Below, the mice were having breakfast when they heard the tailor's message. They laughed and chattered excitedly, discussing what they should do. One brave soul suggested that they should take a closer look at the unfinished coat. So off they scurried, racing through the streets towards the tailor's house. They climbed up the drain pipe and peeked through a window. On the table below lay the button and thread. Without hesitation, the smallest mouse jumped through, followed by the rest. In no time at all, they had all gathered round the table. Now, despite being small, the mouse was no bigger than a pinhead. It meant one of them would have to stay behind and hold the thread steady, while the others sewed. Eventually, they agreed that the youngest would stay put, while the eldest got to work. And so as the hours passed and the sun rose higher in the sky, the last buttonhole was sewn shut. Looking around, they saw that they had made such good progress that the coat was nearly finished. With a final wave of her paw, the oldest mouse signaled that it was done, and the young one, her paws aching from holding the threads, smiled proudly. As they prepared to leave, one of the mice noticed a lump of bread on the window ledge and promptly forgot all about escaping. Instead, she and the others feasted, nibbling happily on the crumbs. Suddenly, a large shadow loomed over them. It was Simpkin, come to see what all the commotion was about. She was very surprised to see the coat had been worked on, but before she could say a word, the mice dashed away and hid. Not wanting to scare them off, Simpkin slipped back downstairs. When the tailor came in to check his work, he was very surprised to see the coat was finished, right down to the last buttonhole. Couldn't believe it. Had the mice really done it? He thought. There was only one way to find out, so he put on the coat, and it fit perfectly. Overjoyed, he ran to the shops to get some ribbon and a large gold buckle to fasten it with. Then he went to the market to buy a whole leg of mutton for Simpkin, who purred with delight. As for the mice, well, he didn't see them again, but he always kept a crust of bread by the windowsill just in case. And so, thanks to the kindness of the mice, Tailor had something to sell after all. Although it wasn't a lot, he was able to live comfortably until his dying day. As for the coat, it became the most famous garment in Gloucester, and many people came from miles around just to catch a glimpse of it. So, did you enjoy this story? Which character was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing. We've read the tale of Peter Rabbit and the Wind in the Willows. Next week, we will be reading the tale of Mr. Todd. And if you have a favorite story you'd like to see us cover, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you next time.